Look at knives. Who's got knives with them? Anybody bring a knife with? Oh, there we go. Let me see what you've got. Not a fixed blade? Huh? It's not a fixed blade?
No, it's mine.
Yours. Yours isn't a fixed blade either.
Marine one.
Ah, right, okay. There's fixed blade. You have a wee fixed blade, have you? Oh, that's a wee quick one. That's a nice wee knife.
I'm going to get excited.
Huh?
Is it sharp?
No, I think it could be a wee edge on it. Look, on the side. It's a nice wee knife. Nice wee fixed blade armour. Wee scout knife, wee scout emblem on it. Don't let Andy see it because he'll steal it. Andy can't walk through IKEA because all the knives stick to him. Alright, so alright, we like wee fixed blade knives. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. These are nice wee blue handled ones. This was a green Mora. Okay, you're bound to, those people have heard of Moras before. They're sort of the iconic bushcraft type knife. They're cheap, they will break, like anything else. So if you hammer into it like that there, which I did with the chap on the course one day, I had his knife in it, split a piece of wood with just a knife, smashed the handle of it. Doesn't cost a lot to replace. So you have that type of knife. You can move up and you can go for other types of things that we've got. We trappers. Okay. Buy one of these, probably £20. Okay. So £12. £90, okay, because it starts to get fashionable then. Yeah, where you buy some, you get a nice wee leather sheath and all with it. And then you move from there up into, you do it yourself. So you get yourself a blade, heat treat it, bend it down, and you make yourself a knife. Okay. That will cost £30, okay, materials, and then just make that, and you make a sheath with it. So that's why it seems to go with regards to bushcraft. They move on, they buy a good wee knife, and then they go for more expensive then knife, and then you get all word into things. But you'll notice there's something in common with all three of these. Okay. No serrations. No serrations. Serrations are great for cutting through seat belts and cutting through ropes and things like that there. But if you have one of these knives here, you look after it right, it'll do exactly the same thing. In fact, it'll go through it a lot harder. Okay, it'll go a lot sharper. The reason we don't really go for serrations or sawbacks and stuff like that there, like big Rambo type knives, is because they've no real function. You know, if I want to saw a piece of wood, I grab one of these. I grab this up. Fold and prune this up. Because that's what it's for. So other people say, but what if all you had was your knife? It would be great if you had a saw in the back, but I said, well, if I'm carrying this about and I get saw, I would be questioning what I'm doing with this in the first place. Alright? So that's where the laws and knives sort of come in. Does anybody know the laws with regards to the knives? 4 inch? No, 3 inch? 7.62. It's a it depends on your purpose. Depends on your purpose. Now, today, if the police walked in here now, there's not going to be a lot they're going to be able to do, because these are tools. Yeah, we made them weapons. These are tools. These are for cutting and hacking and doing things that makes our life easier. I could do exactly the same thing with a piece of flint or a piece of stone, but it'll take 50 times as long. Yeah. So if you decide to do one of these on you out here, you're not going to have an issue. Because no healer is going to be that stupid as to decide to try and take you to court for possession of an offensive weapon while you're out in the woods, because it gets the court's going to laugh them out of it. It's like going into a building site and saying to a joiner that you can't have a Stanley knife, or you can't have that type of knife for carving, or you can't have a chisel. Okay, it's offensive weapon. If however you're wandering around Tesco's with it strapped to your belt, or in the pub, and they're different matter altogether. Any fixed blade knife, you have to show a purpose as to why you're actually having them. You're outside there with a fixed blade knife, whether it's got a 7.62mm or centimetre blade on it or not, and or even if it's sub that and it's fixed blade, immediately you have to have a bloody good reason why you've actually got that. And that includes Leathermans, because they are classed as fixed blade because they're lockable. It's a lockable knife. Okay, that's the way the law has changed. So be very, very careful. If you have a simple pen knife with a sub 7.62 blade or below, you shouldn't have any issue, because you're allowed to carry them without any real reason. But you're sitting in the pub flashing it about, you're going to be questions as to what you're doing with it. If somebody sees you messing about with it somewhere out there, or you pull it out to somebody, you've changed it from a legal purpose into an illegal purpose, or made it out, or intended for harm to somebody else. You've changed the purpose of the thing itself. Okay. So I think you guys go trekking and stuff like that there, and go hill walk, things like that there. I don't see any issues. You have one of these. If you have a backpack, and you need to go up in the morning, so you get through Newcastle, and you've got one of these in your backpack. First thing is, how does anybody know what's in your backpack? Okay. Only reason I have it is we're flashing it about. So if you get stopped or something like that there, for whatever reason the police want to search you, you're going to have no, well, why am I being searched? What's the basis for the search? Thing like that there. We saw somebody said that you have a knife doing this with it, or you've got a knife in your backpack. Well, there you go. Well, you must be messing about. Okay. But the there's no issue you stick in your backpack, heading up through the town, going to get a coffee. It's out of the road. It's out of mind. It's just a tool which is hidden. Sure it is. Your knife is sharp. Okay. It has to be so sharp as that you don't have to put a lot of pressure. Remember, you've heard the term as a blunt knife is a dangerous knife. That's because whenever you're doing it, you're putting so much pressure, and suddenly when it cuts, you've no control. Okay, you've no control. It flies out of your hand. So that's some of the safety aspects. Look at some of the safety aspects of the knives themselves. One, when you're using the knife, remove it from the sheath. Okay, remove it from the sheath. You get people do this. The next thing, oops. All right. Quick way of doing it. Okay, and you can use that. This is good. Teach you can then pass this on to like the kids and stuff like that. There. Grip it one side, grip it the other. 2 thumbs over that. Push your thumbs together. That breaks the seal. Okay. If your knife's sitting, especially some of the leather, the ones in leather sheets and stuff like that, you get out in the way and it sticks a wee bit, and it's a bit tight. There we go. 2 thumbs together, push. That breaks the seals, and that allows you to bring the knife out. You get the smoke now. I got to think all of it. Turn yourself around so you're in a position. Just now, it's really good. The midges are coming around on the side. Kick him out of the road if you want. He'll move. You have to just hit him really hard.
He's got a knife in his hand.
Right now. Okay. So that's getting the knife out, bring it out, and then remove the sheath from the knife, not the knife from the sheath. Because you remove the knife from the sheath, you've got an edge which is moving. Okay, so we try to keep it as still as we possibly can. There we go. Now we're going to use the knife. Grip it reasonably firmly, but not gorilla grip the whole thing till your eyes are popping out and that there. Now, depending on what the different cuts and stuff we're going to do, it depends what way the knife's going to be. Okay, you might have to angle it slightly in your hand. You may at some stage use your thumb. I tend to not bother using my thumb at all in the back of it, because once you remove your thumb, remember that takes a lot of your control out of it. Remember, difference between us and cats and stuff like that, opposed to the thumb. Yeah, okay. Because we can actually move and we can form our hands and make it a lot stronger, the grip that we're actually using. Okay. So that's holding it. We'll look at some of the grips and stuff when we go around and cut something in a wee minute or two. So what I want to do now is I'm going to take my knife here and I'm going to pass it around the grip. Pass the knife from somebody or take a knife from somebody like that there, you should always be taking that handle first or passing that handle first with the blade going uppermost. Okay. So from here, you're simply just switching it round so that the spine of the blade is lying just in the crook between the first finger and the thumb. Okay. I will then pass that to yourself. You just take the knife in your hand, just a strong hand, and then pass it on. Okay, and that's it. Just pass it right round the grip. That's it. And turn it round so that's you. Pass it around the grip. Sweat your hands or blade and stuff like that, so you have to be careful of that too whenever you use it. Because it's very easy to go your hand go into it if you want your knife razor sharp. So that would go. That would shave all the hairs off on it. That's how sharp the knife you want the knife to be. Andy was shaving his arms earlier on. He likes to do that occasionally when he's in the woods. Okay. So we'll look at using the knife to actually cut. When your knife's not in use, it should be secured stowed somewhere. What we don't do is, well, if I'm sitting and I'm using my knife, and for whatever purpose I'm using it for, and I know I'm going to be away there for a minute or two, or I'm going to be doing something else for a wee while like that there, it goes back to the sheath. One, it protects the knife and the blade. Two, it protects you. You don't wipe it off. Two, one thing you don't do is you sit here cutting away and at the side, you want to come and put it in the sheet, so stick it into this log. You damn sure the next person that comes down, most people what they do when they go to sit down on the log, do this. Slice, razor sharp knife straight into the side of the hand and then cut it. Okay? We certainly don't upend it into the ground, damage your knife. Okay? So just spend all your time sharpening it. make sure that you're not sticking your knife in it. Don't drive it. Unless you're cutting the tree down with the knife, don't be driving it into trees and things like that there. Alright, don't leave it sticking up into anything like that there, into a piece of wood or into a log. You can't do that with an axe, but certainly not a knife because the size of the cutting knives or something. It doesn't last the longer. Don't leave your knife near the fire either. If you're sitting close to the fire, be very careful. Remember, these are tempered. You leave them near the fire long enough like that there, you start to reduce the tempering in the actual knife itself. It'll ruin it. That's a plastic sheet, but it'll melt. Okay. What I want you to do now quickly, if you will, is go and get yourselves a piece of stick. About that thick, okay, and about that length or half as long as that again. Let's say make a tin peg, okay, 3 cuts, make a tin peg, okay, we've got a couple of different cuts to use, and then what we'll be doing is we'll be looking at making feather sticks, so we're going to use those as well, and we'll also look at notching this out. Okay, different ways you make 3 notches. So simple things just so that you can look at me and see what way you're using it. So if I'm using a knife and I'm sitting down cutting like this, one thing I want to always make sure, if I'm sitting and my hands are in front of me with the knife, I want my knees and my elbows in some form of contact. What that prevents is this type of thing, where I start cutting up in here, because, and we're in trouble. Okay, you'll have me standing on your groin for a while screaming and then coming up in here. So if I'm sitting like this, knees on the elbows. Yeah? Other thing I want to make sure is if I'm sitting like that there is the follow through of the knife itself. I don't want people too close to me. Right? The responsibility of the knife is with the person that's using it, not with the other person approaching you. So if I'm sitting here, great, no problem. If I'm on the ground like that, take a wee seat, same thing, knees up. And I don't want people too close. I would personally, unless I was doing a really hard chest cut in here, I wouldn't be sitting too close to somebody. Best way to cut with a knife, I always find, relaxed posture to the side and downward motion. Okay? So if I'm sitting here and I'm going to be cutting this here, I know that all my cutting is going to be down here. Okay? If I change it, I could sit up into here, I'm controlling it. Alright, so you could probably sit there and have a conversation with him, but just he has to be careful that he doesn't decide to stick his hand in the middle of the whole thing. So this is the best way I find, whether sitting up here or sitting on the ground. It's simply this: I can now sit and I'm cutting nicely towards the ground. Using the knife. When you're using the knife itself, remember, generating power in one way doesn't always work, so sometimes we want to do it as 2 ways. So pushing forward and pulling back at the same time. Okay? One way of cutting. If we're standing up, the problems come when we're standing up is if I'm standing like this here and Andy decides that he really has to tell me something. Right? And I'm standing like this and Andy's coming up into me and I'm cutting away like this, and he decides to come up in close. Out there, it should be stop cutting, turn your back side off. Okay. So I'm cutting the other way. Yeah. If it's that important that he needs to move around again, what I do, I stop cutting. What do you want? Or you're being a dick. That's all. Go somewhere else. Stop annoying me. Okay. So that's where we're cutting. We're making sure is that we're up way out where we're cutting. That whenever somebody comes towards us, we're turning off to the side. They can still talk to us, and we can continue cutting. Or if they keep getting in your face, you just hey, look, just watch the knife there, man. Put it away. Something which we're not too bothered with today, which is good, which a lot of cuts to the face happen with. Can anybody tell me what it would be? How would you end up cutting yourself in the face?
Right.
What?
Right.
Yep, absolutely. You don't know, you won't. Yeah, I know, please don't do what I'm doing, okay? I'm only using
I put the pen on his eye going up.
this type of thing starts happening, you know, when that there, and you don't realise it. See, when that happens, go somewhere where there's no flags, or wait till they're out of the road, because you will end up at some stage flashing this thing in your face. Okay? Knife that sharp, they're across the head, your stitches straight. Okay? So we're going to look at pointing this stick. Okay? We can do 3 points simply from here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, pointing the stick. Okay? Or we can do other types of cuts. If it's a bit thicker, okay, we can do something slightly thicker. And I want to do it, I can come in from this. I can use the actual knife against my leg. Yeah, and I can cut with it again. So I'm using the power of my arms and I'm levering the whole thing out against my leg. Never trying to cut it. Yeah? Or I can do the same thing, only I can do it up into the chest, up into my chest here. Both hands up in contact and I'm using the power like that coming across my chest. 1, 2, 3. Yeah? Yeah. So you can cut the bigger sticks, but we're kind of right up in here. Okay, I'm using it. Now notice the difference in the knife has changed. So it's adapted the knife and I've changed it round to my hand. When you're chasing it around your hand, just watch the blade itself. But again, these wee knives here, right up in tight, those are, just unsheath your knife for me there. There, they're right up in too. So right up in there, so just watch that wee finger. There's not really a guard gets in the way in the knife. So you just watch that wee finger when you're coming up in through. Alright. So there's 3 different ways of cutting. I want you to try. One from here, simply to the side. 3 cuts from there, on your knee. That way, and for chest cut. Okay, here. Okay guys, find yourselves a wee space at the road, and let me see. You can do it with these rats sitting on the logs, out there, as long as it's nobody beside you. What we do is take this, and turn it into some form of bus that will hinder. Well, our real agreement is if I stick a match to this, it's not going to go light.
It's gone.
So what I want to do is I want to plane it down into something that will light.
You didn't believe me, did you?
The kettle's going on fire there. So, starting off, we look at the edges. It's best if you can, when you split this down, you find yourself a square edge, or roughly a square edge. Alright? The other thing we want is, then I like to start on the outside because I know that the grain is uniform. If I start in here somewhere, where there might be steps in the grain, it'll cut off each of those steps and that'll fall off. What I want to do here is I want to plane this down till I have a massive fibrous material down here. Okay, that will hopefully light with a match, or definitely light with a fire stick. Alright. So I start off on here and I've got a square edge. So from there, holding this nice and tight, I put my knife up against it and I'm going to be starting to plane down. Now you'll get lots of wee bits will probably plane off until we find ourselves one level. We're starting to find one level now. So plane it down and then I'm going to just lever out slightly. Okay, try not to cut it off. Once I flatten this, I've now given 2 more edges. There's another edge and there's another edge. Yep, when you flatten something, you get those 2 edges. So I'm going to work down that next edge. Try if you can to try and keep your arm as straight as possible. Yeah, go down another edge. You're not really working from the wrist, as you can see. It's more my shoulder that's doing the job here. And I'm trying to do is I'm trying to curl this, the curls I'm forming, and I want them all to mass into one area. I don't want them like your Christmas tree up and down here. I want them all stopping in here, so I get all this. Some of the wee survival books and stuff you might see, it looks like your Christmas tree the whole way up, and it's wee tiny things. The problem is that once that wee thing burns, it's gone. It's into this thick stuff again, and that ain't going to go any further. So with this here, I want to do is I want to create lots of heat in that one part. To the side, and again, planing down. And you're just working your way along those wee edges. Now you can get thicker if you want to, you can build up good big thick parts, or you can really go nice and thin and small. Yeah. So it's really, really thin. Again, if they do slide off, it's no big dramas, because it can still be used. When you start getting in a way that you're able to form them and see it's all in one area here, what we want to try and do is get it so there's some over here and some over here. This is where tilting the knife comes in. You can practice this to start off with. So if I keep the knife tip up, it goes off one side. If I put the knife tip down, it goes off the other side. Okay? 2 more. Yeah, it goes either side. So, and then various grades of that throughout when we're actually doing it. So up a wee bit.